Good morning and thank you very much for joining us. This is the Western Spectrum, a program that comes to you every Monday, 8 to 9 a.m. In the morning. And of course, today we are discussing, or rather, this is the month of mental health awareness. And today we are discussing mental health in universities. And of course, there are no better people to discuss that issues than students in our local universities will actually tell us what is actually being done and what initiatives as students they're actually doing to ensure that indeed they bridge the gap. Of course, they bring to the four issues that students are actually facing so that then administrations can actually take up the matter and ensure that indeed that issue is tackled. On set, of course, we have Catherine Makalama Olga from the University of Nairobi, and of course we have Taib Hussein Taib from Uzima University here in Kisumu. Or Hussein, I should also say the Uzima University from Kisumu.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. According to studies, Kate, between 30 and 40% of students in our universities are actually experiencing symptoms of mental health issues. I mean, what exactly is happening in these institutions?
So thank you so much. Basically, mental health is a condition, or rather a state of emotional or psychological well-being. And in mental health, there's so many aspects. There is the financial aspects, there is the normal livelihood of someone living and how it affects them. And with mental health, it's not just an illness. And actually, most of us forget about mental health and its importance as just a physical health. And physical health and physical well-being, mental well-being is important in someone's aspect of life because this affects their decision-making, affects their normal lifestyle and how they react to people, how they live as individuals. And we're living in a state where it's very, very important for you to be in a very normal state, for you to be optimal for yourself and the people around you. Yes.
You have said that this is not, it's not just looked as an illness, but of course a condition and with other contributory factors. Taib, that to me is one of the biggest issues because even at the basic level in our homes, when someone is actually in a place where the mental state is not in a proper condition, we are always looking at those people as not sick, but huyu ako tuna stress zake kidogo atakuwa sawa. Is that where we actually miss the point?
We can say that is the first part of missing the point, because as Kate has just alluded here, is the mental health aspect encompasses not only having the illness, but also being able to cope normally with the stresses and also ensuring that we as humans can live a fruitful, emotionally safe environment. So by a person when he's stressed, we can confidently say that his mental health at that time is a little bit impaired, similar to a person that is having chills or a person that is having a fever. We can say that this person physically is a little bit sick, but not is sick in terms of illness, but at least there's something that is off in him. So if we start disregarding that, usually our bodies have a tendency to regulate. But when they extend a certain period, our bodies tend to lose the regulation, and now we fall into the other part because we know that mental health and mental illness is just a spectrum of the same thing.
Spectrum of the same thing. Culturally, Kate, women tend to, have a lot of disadvantages, especially because of the expectations, societal expectations, right? And I'm looking at it from a perspective of you coming from your village, Namboboto village, right? And going all the way to Nairobi. And you are a young girl, but also just transitioning into adulthood. And you still want to be your mama's child, but at the same time, you're supposed to be an adult in school and actually take care of your situation. How is the situation for women in universities?
Universities, and I'm glad you mentioned the aspect of transition. You from high school, maybe 19 years old at most, you're going to university and you're leaving. Now I left where I came from, went all the way to Nairobi to do the course that I'm doing right now. And the transition is very, very big. You can actually see it. In high school, you don't have the freedom. But then in campus, you have the leeway to do whatever you want to do. And for those who have come from, like it's a long distance from home to now school, they see the city, they want to explore, they want to do different things that they haven't done, or rather, they weren't able to do when they were in high school. So with the freedom comes so much expectations, comes so much disappointment perhaps to yourself and maybe to your family. And as ladies and women in general, if you're having mental health issues, like let's say it's been brought by financial struggles, you might find yourself getting yourself into coping mechanisms that maybe aren't suitable for you. As a lady, there'll be so much pressure.
What are some of the coping mechanisms that you say might not be actually suitable?
I said freedom, exploration. There'll be the substance use, you know. You didn't do them in high school, and now you have the opportunity, maybe. You've been exposed to them. There is the pressure, friends. You've been exposed to perhaps alcohol, substance use, and you get yourself using them to maybe cope for the stresses, financially problems, academic problems. Yeah, you get yourself coping to them. And in this current generation, there's so many talks of ladies and older people. I don't know. It's
cross-generational.
Yes. And it's so much out there that as an individual, if you aren't aware of yourself, you may actually be knocked out because of this.
Is it because of choices, or is it because of the prevailing conditions, or is it just because of peer pressure?
Well, there are so many contributing factors to all of this. It could be there's so many contributing factors that lead to an individual, a lady, to do things that they weren't able to do when they were back in high school, or back when they were not exposed to conditions. Yes.
Looking at the whole spectrum, how do you then mitigate the situation?
As what Kate has just said, the issue here is a multifactorial thing. So targeting it requires also multifactorial. So in the aspects of the coping mechanisms, so what we can do is establish that, especially because the critical point, as per the studies that have been done, that 40% of the students, especially the first years, have the highest mental health burden. So we can use that because they're in the ones that are in the transition phase. So we can ensure that we have talks with them as early as possible, exposing them that the life here is not as they had been told earlier on or been given a picture of previously. So it's not like a life in a silver platter. Things here are difficult. Things tend to be this way, but you have to stand to your principles. You have to understand yourself. You have to get to know why you are here, and so on. So that can be a starting point to ensuring that the coping mechanisms, especially with the substance use, aren't being indulged by those students. Because at the same time they are youths, and we also have the peer pressures. So by ensuring that the whole group is counseled, has been also been has been talked about the issue, so it reduces and mitigates the issue.
To a good level.
Yeah, to a good level.
Fantastic. When you look at the numbers that we have, just before you add Kate, when you look at the numbers that we have in our tertiary institutions, right, and you look at the traditional way of how our education is structured, there's always that gap between what you'd call administration and, of course, the students. How then do we bridge the gap so that then we ensure that the administration is actually alive to what is actually happening with the students, and the students are actually open enough to actually reach out to the administration so that then they can actually be assisted, because that is one of the issues. Quite often we hear that something has happened to a student in institutions of higher learning, but the administration is not aware. They're actually just coming to learn of it later. How then do we bridge the gap?
That's a good one, because currently there's also a research that has been done in UON and in KMTC that uses the gazebo method. So it's like a safe space for the students. But the gazebo method has to be initiated from the administration. So the administration gives the willpower, gives the capacitation to the students, and let it to be a student-led initiative. So by funding it and by also training the student peers, which can be also advocates and can also be like the trainers for the other students. Yeah, so we can use that. About 924 students have been stated in that study, have benefited, and the study is continuous, and the gazebo method is ongoing. We can implement those in the different higher institutions, ensuring that the gap between the administration and the student has been reached at a close by. Yeah.
Fantastic. Then the question I would ask, because when you say gazebo, we have a hazy picture of what gazebo is. So then if you just actually probably expound further, so then a student who is actually at home or in a Lupe University or in a Chuka University can actually understand what gazebo study is all about and what it entails to do. And according to your deduction, what exactly is it about?
It was named gazebo because of how a gazebo is. Gazebo usually placed in a place where there's a cool environment, chilled environment, a place for relaxation.
Yes.
That's why the name gazebo was used. So basically, it's just a safe space. Can be a room, can be a space, can be a hall, can be a corridor whereby people meet and talk. But in this aspect, it is student-led. So that means that there are peer-to-peer mentorship and peer-to-peer guidance and counseling. So there is no the administration part coming in, because the student may also be afraid if they see the different lecturers there. So it may also lead to some students not trying to open up and thereby affecting their helping. So that's on the part of the gazebo and how it can actually be used.
Kate, just riding on the point that he's actually talked about in terms of being a student-led and peer-to-peer engagement to ensure that indeed we can actually help each other. You are part of an organization or a movement in Nairobi University that is actually actively involved in ensuring that you tackle mental health in that institutions. Just tell about that movement, and two, how then do we leverage on technology to ensure that one, instead of actually having a sit down, because with the demands that come with the education system in the country, at times it is difficult to actually have that safe space in terms of sitting down, right? How then do we leverage on technology to ensure that indeed we have more people, more young people on this space and can actually discuss mental health?
So one, on the organization that I actively participate in and lead, that's Standing Committee on Mental Health. It's part of the standing committees that Medical Students Association of Kenya, MSAKE, and TIB is also part of the MSAKE leadership. We aim to promote mental health now under SCOMH, Standing Committee on Mental Health. We aim to promote mental health, advocacy, and just create awareness across mental health illnesses and how students in the universities, at least medical students in the different universities, could be assisted. And before I get to the technology aspect, back to the administration, there's so many universities that, maybe I can speak from our experience, there are so many structures that are there for students. For our case, we have the gazebos, yes, but they are the wellness centers. These wellness centers have counselors, and students maybe are not aware of that. So to the students out there could be a wellness center in your university that you could actually take advantage of. There are free counselors who are employed by the school, by your uni. You could go talk to them. You could go get help from them. So other than the peer-to-peer mentorship that we all try and promote, because I know my case, you know your case. When we come together, we are able to come up with solutions for one another, because we are in these spaces, we are the ones going through the problem. So when we talk to each other, we are able to get solutions to our problems. Yes, with the peer-to-peer, there's still the university, the counselors, go use them, utilize them, and get professional help.
You talk about technologies.
Now back on technology.
Not everyone will be able to sit in one place and talk about their issues. We have gadgets, we have, gadgets in general, the internet. We're in this century where technology is very, very paramount. And if you're behind with technology, then you have a lot to catch up on. So
How can you be behind technology and you're in a university? I mean, great.
Familiar with the tools that are very helpful for them. So with technology, you can be able to explore so many things using your gadget, so long as you are connected to the internet. You can get help through your phone just by a screen. Tap, tap, tap. There is someone on the other side who can be able to talk to you. And I'm not talking about the AIs. I don't know, you go to ChatGPT, I'm feeling this way, how can I do? What can I do to help
Specific
myself?
tools that are actually being cultured to ensure that you can actually get help, yeah? Yes.
Yes.
Chiromo Wellness Centers, they have online platforms where you could log in, talk to someone one-on-one, and get help. There is another tool, I don't know if this is only for students at the University of Nairobi, it's called the Radar app. You just have to sign up to that app and you'll get an online counselor who is going to talk to you, who you're going to chat with, and they're going to give you real help, and it's just by using your screen, as simple as that.
Great. Taib, we have talked about institutions at great length, right? But the other pressure also comes from our communities, comes from expectations. A student who has just transitioned from high school and is getting into a university, in most situations, and especially from poor backgrounds, people are already looking at you as the savior of the community, the savior of a family, right? And that comes with expectations, right? And some families, even just going to university, your parents will be calling you and expecting something, you send something home, right? Is it time that also, community reduced expectations? And especially now that, of course, even just getting a job is also a hassle, right? Is it time that we actually reduced expectations from these kids?
What I can say is that time for us to change it was in the past. So currently, what the community or the culture is doing to these students, it's just having an additional burden to what they already have. Yeah, that's what I can say. Because you are not earning in a university.
True.
Instead, you are the one paying there, and being expected to show up in different places using your own tuition and fees, and also your transportation. So that is the thing that our people from the community, have to understand that we are not here working yet. Yeah. So the transition should have been in the past. Yeah, maybe during your time. Yeah.
When you are invested and you are bound to get some stipends here and there, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Crisis in the
universities.
Yes, because we are there to learn. Most of us are not working. So during the holiday, if you don't work and get enough money, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle the other side. Because yes, you have to pay your tuition fee. If it's not your parents, then maybe a support, they help, and sometimes it's delays, If it's not help, you have to find your own ways, and that means instead of going to class, you'll be working somewhere just to get that 100 bob to go and eat in the evening. And when people say Kuinama is actually really in the campus. Someone skips breakfast, they skip lunch. They just want to eat one meal in the evening that's going to sustain them the entire time. So if haujafanya kazi to get money for food, you don't have money for personal things. I think especially ladies, the personal effects are very important. And if you don't have the finances, the financial capability or the muscles to get that for yourself, it's gonna be problematic for you.
I'm tempted to ask Kate just before Taib comes in, as a student, and we have interacted quite a lot before actually having this show, And I kept on asking you, when are you getting time so that then you can actually come, we discuss about mental health in institutions of higher learning. And you kept on telling me about time. And I want to look at it from a perspective where you are expected to be in class from 7 up until 5 in the evening. Where do you get time to actually work on the sidelines so that then you can actually get resources to finance yourself?
Sacrifice. You have to sacrifice. If it means waking up early at 4 a.m., you do your studies at that time, and then 7 to 5, you give it your all to school, to classwork, and then now 5 to 6 or whichever time you're going to sleep. For myself, I sleep a bit late because I have to get things for myself.
So
I have to upskill. And I think everyone should be doing that. There is more to life than just the course you're doing. There's so many courses you could take on the side, and then once you become better at them, you now go and maybe get money from, you monetize your skill. So for my case, I'll wake up early in the morning and sleep a bit late, so that I put my academic workforce on the good and my upskilling on the good too, and then also my social life, and now getting to do things like this.
One of the issues that Kate has brought up, and it's quite important, is horizontal learning, right? You are actually doing medicine, right? But the other small skills that you can actually, take up to ensure that you're actually surviving in the community away from your main course. How important is that?
I can't say the exact words because killing yourself, let me call it that way, a new word, or upskilling yourself is a very critical journey that a youth has to engage in, because by you just depending on the coursework or that whatever you are learning to help you monetize yourself is a little bit challenging and backsided, or backwards, because what I can say is currently in this generation, people are being employed, and not only employed, but starting startups that they have just gained by skilling themselves. People currently are doing jobs that they haven't been caused upon. So a person does a course in IT but ends up doing a different startup completely. Why? Because of the skill the person that has gotten in that time. So the person gets to see the issues that are there in the society, the problems that are there, and with the skill that the person has, and solves the problem, and hence getting money from it.
Basically increasing our or stretching our latitude in terms of how we can actually survive. Kate, one other issue that we seem to have just touched on a little bit but not delved into it much has been the issue of peer pressure in the institutions of higher learning. Because Kate is donning the designer outfit, and I don't know her background. I don't know where she's found the designer outfit. I also want to don the same. I want also to, wear the best cologne in the market. How then do we ensure that this peer pressure is actually minimized in our institutions to a level where people are not going out of the way, missing classes, getting mental stress, just to, fit in the community?
That's the most important word that I think I'd say for that question. Self-awareness. Just know who exactly you are, what you want, right? If you want to go for a party and you don't have the muscles or the financial muscles to do that, then ask yourself, why am I going, or why do I want to go, right? And when I'm going there, what is expected of me? Is it my time, my resources, my finances, the little that I have? And what am I going to get in return? This is a party. What am I going to get in return? Is there someone that I'm going to network with? Is there someone that I'm going to get to know and they're going to be helpful to me? Maybe not academically, but just as a mentor, just self-awareness. Get to know, why am I doing this? How is it going to serve me in the long run? And if I'm doing it, is it going to impact on me positively or negatively? And then from there, you do your analysis, and then you'll be like, yes, this is going to help me, then let me go. This is not going to help me, then why do I want to go then? Let me sit down and do something else in return that is going to be helpful to me and is going to be helpful to maybe someone else, my neighbor, my family, my relative even. Yes.
And maybe
Return.
said, on the matter of self-awareness, we can also take it a notch higher and also reflect it back to the administration, because the people, the youths, as the word says, peer pressure. So there's the pressure, there's the energy, morale, motisha, iko hapo. So we can use that. So from the administration, what they can do is that they can also ensure that the skills or the things that are being taught in the course are not only not only the normal Bachelor of Science in accounting or what, or Bachelor of Arts in accounting that was taught 10 years ago is currently the one that is setting up here. That is being taught currently. That means that they have to update the curriculum to ensure that it fits the real life situations that are currently here. So maybe in now the times of AI, in terms of generative models that are there and so on, how can their courses be structured so that they integrate this, so that their student can monetize that and use that, so that there is no that peer pressure thinking. Yeah.
Yes, great. I wanted to talk about return on investment, but you have actually touched on it. The next question then that I would ask Kate and Taib is the issue of, I know in your space it is a little bit easier in terms of transitioning from classes going into attachment. It's not as difficult as any other courses, right? I don't know, you'll actually tell us. However, one of the issues that I find, and within the last 1 month or so, I've actually received applications close to, 150 students just asking for attachment. Is it something that we actually need, because these transition spaces for students, not just for attachment, or not just for attachment, but also internship and actually now getting jobs. Is this something that the government needs to work on seriously? Because at times you come into universities and you're doing a certain course and you're so certain that I'm going to get a job. However, as you continue to learn, as you continue to be skilled in that particular course, you realize, I am going to join another 1,001, hundreds of thousands of other trainees that are actually now just out there and doing nothing. Is it part and parcel of what actually is contributing to this mental health?
True. And post-medical school or post-campus is a reality. I'd speak from the course that I'm doing and the people I've gotten to interact with. Post-medical school is a bit stressful. Now, the transition in between medical school and internship. And currently, we're being kept to wait for almost a year. Imagine spending 6 to 7 years in campus, and then before going for internship, KMPDU makes you wait for around a year so that you go. And then with going, it's a system where it's mental torture. How do you naenda wapi? No. The thought of, I schooled in Nairobi and then it's gonna be random. I'm gonna be placed somewhere that I'm not familiar with. It keeps you at a very mental torture for a whole year. How do you take wapi? You don't know how the environment is going to be. So, and most of our system, or rather our system, is not tackling that. Bora wao wamefanya vitu zao, they don't care about you. They just know after that 1 year, huyo tutamweka tu hapo na ataenda kufanya vitu zake. And in now the working space, there is also not much support. Imagine you didn't get support in medical school. Wewe ndo umejitafutia fee, umejitafutia upkeep money, and then ukaekwa ungoje 1 year, hauna kazi unafanya. Because before you are employed, you have to go for internship, get licensed. Na uko kwa hiyo, you're in a limbo, hujui kitu unafanya. you're just waiting. And then ukienda kazi, still there is no much support. You get interns working for long hours, very weird environments. Mtu anaenda shift 50 plus hours. I don't know, that's so crazy.
I have touched Arona. I can see you're very emotional about it. Just in closing, because 30 seconds and then we close this discussion. Taib, you're closing the marks? Yeah, you're closing the marks.
I can say is for us to ensuring that mental health in higher institutions is actually achievable, is not only through the students, but it has to involve administration and policy. The policy has to change, and that is from the national government.
And also parents, right?
And also parents.
Closing remarks?
Tell a student, you don't need to feel alone. There is so much help out here. It's you to look. Open your eyes.
Fantastic. Those are students from our institutions of higher learning, that is Nairobi University. Kate Makalama Olga and Hussein Taib Hussein, who is a student at Uzima University here in Kisumu, of course, discussing issues pertaining to mental health. And the statistics we're actually getting is that 3 to 4 out of 10 students in our universities are actually experiencing symptoms of mental health, and it's something that you actually need to address, as of course they have said that will take the effort of the government, the effort of the school administrations, the students themselves, and of course parents and the community as a whole. These are discussions that we can actually continue on our social media handles. Achola Simon is my social media handle across all platforms. You can also do it on KBC at Channel 1. Also, you can do it on our Mayenga digital platforms and all KBC digital platforms. On behalf of each and every person who's actually made this possible, thank you very much for coming, Kate and Taib. Our colleague Christine Adhiambo, who is on cameras, and of course Martin Kibuti, and our logistics person Edwin Otieno, and also we're not forgetting this hotel for providing Mirage Palace Hotel, for providing this space for us to actually have this conversation every Monday. It's a thank you from us, and of course we take you back, Broadcasting House.